What's going on, everyone? This is your guy, Pat Bernard, back with you for a Phillies postgame show. And man, oh man, the Phillies win this one today. Much we to bounce back into the win column win. And this was a good win. This was a good feeling. Finally, the Phillies putting the lumber in a good way at Cincinnati Bank Park. What you wanted, what you want to see. And I'm going to go start off with the pitching. You get 6 innings out of Ranger Suarez today. 7 innings from the Reds pitcher, Nick Lotto. Great pitching matchup. I think they both had a similar kind of pitching matchup. It was a mirror match game. Both were extremely well with their curveballs, sinkers, fastballs. Like, Ranger Suarez really favored the changeup and the fastballs and the sinkers, where Lardo was fastballs, sinkers, and sliders. And he has some knuckle curves in there as well. But anyway, again, this is a great Phillies win. This is what you wanted. Trey Turner, 3 hits today. 3 hits. How about Ameldo Sosa? Man, when he's on both sides of the ball. Like, he makes tremendous plays playing the infield. You know, he kind of set the tone for the Phillies by driving the ball deep to right in the 5th. And then the inning right after that, Alec Bolton will drive a ball deep to left. And then follow up by Kyle Schwarber's home run, which would put this game out of attack, really a 5-1 win from the Phillies. And this is what you needed. This is what you needed. This is the kind of wins that you wanted, right? It didn't look pretty at the start. Again, it looked like Trey Turner was about the only person getting any kind of luck with the lumber. And no, the Phillies came up strong. They were dialed in. They were dialed in today. Nick Papernick kicks us off this afternoon. What's up, my buddy? He goes, I can't believe the bumbling fool Phillies manager pulled Suarez with 5 innings. Learn to run, 2 walks, 6 Ks, and only 72 pitches thrown Robbie Poles to go bring the bullpen. It wasn't great. No, the bullpen, again, every time we all know by now, when this bullpen takes the hill there, Robbie, we all have to tighten our sphincters. We bite our nails. We don't know what we're going to get out of this lineup. But, you know, listen, the bullpen was decent enough. I won't say good enough. Decent enough to hold their own today. Tanner Banks, Matt Strom. I mean, those guys kind of held their own today. Orion Kirkering did well. Like I said, held it off on their own, where they didn't have to use them as much. But again, you gotta give Rangers credit, and I wonder too, Papernick, if playing these guys, 7 deep is going to hurt these guys come postseason time if they're going to be gassed. So I'm okay with pulling them somewhat early, because at some point the bullpen's going to have to step up. And I forgot Crystal Romano in there. But at some point, the bullpen's going to have to step up and hold their own, which they did today. They just got by. But more times than not, this bullpen calls you to rip your hair out. So, again, and really no much. Even though, like I said, Suarez gave up 6 hits. And there was a time where Suarez had the Reds had bases loaded, and I thought immediately, this is where this game is about to go ugly. And no, he gets himself out of a jam, and I gotta give this infield defense some credit too, some loving. The infield defense between Alec Bohm, Trey Turner, and Mona Sosa was really, really spot on. I think we can all agree that's one of the Phillies' strong suits is their defense game. Mike Peppering says it's a good win in spite of Robbie, who is now using Romano in the fifth and using Kirkering in the eighth, who should be closing, and Strum should not be closing material. No, yeah, you're right. Strum is not closing. Then again, really, who is closing material on this team? Like I get you about Romano. I guess and Tanner Banks is your best bet for closers, but do you want this game to go out of hand? Like I get it too, and I know you're not the biggest fan of Rob Thompson, Mr. Papernick. I get you, and you pick any kind of scab that you can off this guy, but you got to look at the other side of the coin. It doesn't matter which one of those guys are closing or following up after starting pitching. The game, the bullpen alone after the starts could go haywire at any time. And luckily enough, the bullpen did what they needed to do. The bullpen did just enough to get by. This bullpen with no roles and no set closer hasn't worked since Robbie has been here. We're all living off 3 years ago with the World Series run. Well, I mean, I get you. Right, there is no set roles. Again, he's still 3 years, right, Rob? And he's still trying 3 years, Mike, and he's still trying to figure out this offense. He's still trying to figure out the arm situation other than the starters, and he can't figure it. And like I said, he's still trying to figure it out. And me and Mike are going to talk more about this situation tomorrow because, the trade deadline's almost here. It's right around the corner. We're at the All-Star break now, pretty much. This team goes on the road after the holiday week. And I'm first of all, I hope that everyone's having a blessed and safe holiday. I hope everyone's enjoying time with their families. If you are watching the show, I definitely appreciate it. I definitely, appreciate your time. Mike says, Kirkland out there every night as he's closing material. I do not want to see a trade for a closer. I don't know if Kickering is closer material. He's decent, but again, Mike, he's the kind of guy who could go up and down. They do need a closer though. They do need it. It's how are you going to feel when those arms start to get gassed towards September and October, and you got to rely on this bullpen to bail you out? Then that's a recipe for disaster. At some point, I hope David Dombrowski is going to have to give up a bat to get something decent in return. You're going to have to give up a bat. You need an arm. Harper had a bad day. Yeah, listen, again, he's still shaking the cobwebs there, Star Wars. Romano got the win. Yeah, he did. Schwarber needs to stop trying to swing at the fences for the fences at every at bat. Yeah, I get, and that's pretty much the whole line. Not the whole lineup, but Castellanos gets really aggressive at times too. Star Wars, he goes after the first pitch. He's very aggressive going after the first pitch. Harper, same kind of deal. They're looking to crush the ball and some playing smart baseball. Like, I get it. This team's power numbers are not up. They're not crushing the long ball. And it stinks because that's just what Cincinnati Bank Park is known for, is for long ball hitting. But for this year, it's not panning out. Bum was player of the game. Yeah, I could see that. I think Turner should have been with 3 hits, or Sosa, just because he made that diving leapfrog defensive play to kind of set the tone defensively. So taking Rob 3 years now to getting into his 4th year managing of the Phillies, and he still hasn't figured out the lineup. What's that tell you about Robbie? Look, man, Robbie he's living day by day, but I think he kind of figured out the lineup though, Mike, right? He's got his leadoff guy. You know, Schwarber is batting that's 2-hole. He's moved up. Alec Bohm, I think he's got a set decent lineup. But hey, look, just take the win. The Lumbers came into play today. I'm sorry. The Phillies traded for a closer last year, and how did that work out for us? He wasn't used as a closer. You can't bring a closer here because Robbie won't use him in the role. That's true. Dave also says Alabama needs to grow up, and I'll leave it at that. That crybaby bleep. Yeah, but Dave, is he really a crybaby, or is he just passionate? Like, think about that. Yeah, is that signs of immaturity? When he's throwing the bat and throwing his helmet and he's throwing things, that's just because he's frustrated with himself. That's human nature. Some guys are like that when they screw up at the job. He's passionate about this team. He's passionate about every at bat he takes, whether they're dumb, whether he disagrees with a call. He's very passionate. I agree with you that he needs to grow up and mature a little bit. You don't need to throw things every time. It does look like a little crybaby. But on the flip coin is he could be very passionate. Lardo gave up 2 home runs. Yeah, he did. Not good. Yeah, but he was decent though for the most part of the day. He had 8 Ks on his belt. To give Nick Lardo's number, 4 hits, 3 gave up 2 home runs, gave up 2 walks, and 8 Ks for 7 innings. I mean, think about it too, Star Wars. Things really didn't get going for the Phils. It's all about the 5th inning with that Armando Sosa home run. Where would this team be without Schwarber's offense? Good question, because Schwarber's the only one consistently enough bringing the long ball, but everyone else is just small ball baseball right now. Small ball. But look, man, Phillies again tied the series 1-1 now. Hopefully the Phillies could do the same thing tomorrow. And me, Mike Lauer, tomorrow morning on PM and the AM, we'll have you covered, gearing you up for that matchup as well. We have a lot of questions on the plate as we head in. And I definitely, before I go any further, a little side note, I definitely appreciate everybody who's checking in with me about me, my old man. I definitely appreciate that. I'll touch on a little bit more of it tomorrow. I definitely I want to thank everyone for their thoughts and prayers that's been coming my way. To all my friends, family, listeners, definitely appreciate that. But let's get back to the Phils here. Yeah, Dave, I said this too. So Dave says Sosa's a wild card. You never know what you're going to get from him. Yeah, Dave, it's crazy because when he's not, you can see why he's not an everyday player, because when he's off, he's completely off. Like the light switch is off, but when the light switch is on, he's on. Like he makes that leapfrog catch today. He sets the tone for the Phillies today with that home run deep to right. So again, I'm with you, Dave. Mike says, so Robbie in the press conference said Ranger was on a pitching count of 85 pitches, but took him out of 72 pitches. Any real manager leaves Suarez in the game, but not Robbie. And listen, and maybe he's going to analytics. Like I said, I'm not trying to make excuses for Robbie, but that's the only thing I can think of that he's in the back of his mind. He doesn't want to have him gas come October time. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Mike. If the guy's cooking, you just let him stay in the kitchen and just continue to cook and let him work his magic. So let's quickly go around the bases. Let's go around and see what else is going around with MLB, because I last heard the Phillies were a half game up on the Mets. So let's go around and see what's happening. All right. I am back. I'm with you. Going over the Phils. Phils today. Win. That's right, win. They win today. 5-1 over the Reds. You got to be happy with what you saw. You got to be happy with the offense that you got from this team. Some power hitting today. Some power hitting from Sosa, Bohm, Schwarber. But let's not stop there. Let's take a look what else is going on around the league. Your finals today. The Marlins win 4-2 over the Brewers. The Arizona Diamondbacks win 7-1 over the Kansas City Royals. The Boston Red Sox win 10-3 over the Washington Nationals. Toronto Blue Jays had a battle with the LA Angels at home, and they win in the 11th inning 4-3. The Chicago Cubbies win today or lose today 8-6 to the St. Louis Cardinals. Minnesota Twins win today 6-5 over the Tampa Bay Rays. Still late games tonight. You got Seattle Mariners and the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Oakland Athletics host the San Francisco Giants. San Diego Padres host the Texas Rangers. The Colorado Rockies hosting the Chicago White Sox. The LA Dodgers hosting the Houston Astros. That should be your game of the week. Really, really decent series there. Just about to get things underway between the Cleveland Guardians and the Detroit Tigers. The Mets are up 11-6, top of the 8th, hosting the New York Yankees. Top of the 9th, 6-6 between the Braves and the Orioles. So we'll see what happens between that game. But anyway, guys, now it's time to get my Broad Street bottom line. All right. It's your guy, Pat Bernard. And again, your Philadelphia Phillies win today, 5-1. My Broad Street bottom line. As the Phillies dominate the Reds with some long ball hitting. Ranger did okay. The bullpen did just enough to carry over the win. They put enough icing on the cake. And they delivered. But anyway, guys, I'm your guy, Pat Bernard. Check me out tomorrow, PM in the AM. We got you covered. Guys, have a great one. Special guest, Will from Pittsburgh, from the Pittsburgh Sports Desk. will be joining. See you later.